Hi, this is Richard Jefferson from the Metal Law Group out in Los Angeles, California, and this is another video in my series on film and TV productions. This one's on film financing. Just going to give you a little overview on the different ways that you can finance your film. First, let me tell you, this is not legal advice. I'm just giving you some information. And with film financing, there are so many ways that you can finance a film. Most people only hear about films that are finished and then they go straight to studios and get an acquisition deal. But most indie projects don't come about that way. They usually start with another form of financing that might attract the studio, maybe to finish the funding. But usually, you start from the ground up. So I'll just go over a few examples. The first is a personal loan, and that's very common, where your friends, family, whoever, interested parties, are giving you a loan, and maybe they'll just expect a rate of return, a good return on their investment, or they'll give you a decent interest rate. Maybe they're just interested in the project and they want some kind of credit. But this is pretty typical, because when you're beginning, a lot of people don't want to give you money, or you don't believe in your project because they don't know what it looks like, and the personal loans might give you that seed money to kind of get things up and running. At least get a trailer or something together so you can go collect other money. Second type is soft money. Now, soft money is the best money because it's free. It's government sponsored money. A lot of tax incentives, rebates. A lot of areas in the United States that are kind of depressed, they want to attract things like the movie industry, and they'll give tax incentives for that. So Michigan, Louisiana, Texas, those are all big markets for soft money. And it helps their economy. It helps promote their areas for tourism, but it also helps attract productions, and it creates jobs. So there's a lot of incentive, a lot of win-win in soft money. Another type is pre-selling, and that happens usually at a film festival or a film market, where a sales agent is interested in purchasing the rights to your project when it's finished. But this happens before. Maybe they like the screenplay, or they like the trailer that you've created, and they try to purchase a territory. And a lot of this happens in Europe. Usually it's like Germany, or people will purchase rights for the UK. So they'll have the exclusive rights to your film, and they can release it there. And they will give you an advance. It's called a minimum guarantee. What I always advise is not to just depend on that for money. There are creative ways that you can use the minimum guarantee, but usually it's only paid out 20% up front. And it's a good way to also market. So I think if you use pre-selling, it's a good way to kind of strategize and see how your film would do in surrounding areas, as opposed to just going for the money. So a lot more on that subject. And another way that you finance is bank loans. You could get a bank loan. Usually that doesn't come in until after part of the funding is in place, but you can get a traditional bank loan. And one of the bigger ways that people raise money is through equity investors. And you can do a private placement, which is basically a very formal fundraising. And you're selling part of your company that holds the film. This is usually done through an LLC or corporation, and it's very traditional, just like any other type of fundraising effort. You're selling units, they're getting in exchange and ownership, and sometimes issues that come into play are maybe control. Sometimes equity investors want to have a little more control over the money. So there are pros and cons to each one of these that I'm naming. But sometimes it's just a jigsaw puzzle. You're putting it all together. And another big one that's coming about is product placement, where you're displaying a corporate product in your film in exchange for some of the financing, and that money usually comes from the marketing budget of these companies. So I'm sure you can think of a number of examples of that. Be that like a car in a cop movie, or any like Coca-Cola in a and like American Idol, any kind of anything that's sponsored, they usually contribute money. So, and there are many other ways. I just wanted to give you a few examples. Another area we've been dealing with is like EB-5 visa investments. That's where foreign investors can actually invest, and they can get on track to get a visa in the United States. So that's even becoming popular. But I just wanted you to be aware that there are a number of ways that you can finance your film, and don't just think that you have to make your complete film and go straight to the studios. There are other ways.